Alright, in this video we're going to talk about how to solve absolute value equations. So before we get started, I want to show you this, right? So the absolute value of x. So the absolute value talks about the distance from 0. And so since distance can't be negative, that means 5 and negative 5 are the same distance from 0, which means the absolute value of either 5 or negative 5 is just 5. So because of this fact, I'm going to have to set up two equations once I get my absolute value bars by themselves. And I can show you what that means as we get going here, okay? So let's look at this first one. So the first step, the first thing I want to try to do is I want to get the absolute value bars by itself first before I do anything else, right? So it's going to operate just like a normal equation, right? I add 4 to each side, I get a 0, and I reset up the equations after the addition of 4. Then I'm going to divide each side by 3. That turns into a 1. So now what I have here is I'm going to come up here and do my work. I have absolute value of x plus 1 equals 2/3. Right? So here's what I know. Just like before, we said what's in the absolute value bars could be the negative or positive version of this 2/3. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up x plus 1 equals 2/3 and x plus 1 equals negative 2/3. Okay? So I'm going to subtract by 1 each time. If you'll notice, this doesn't look like a 1, although it is 1. 3 over 3 is 1, and I do this so that I have like common denominators, and I can do my fraction mathematics over here. So I can do my fraction arithmetic. So now I get x equals negative 1/3. I'm going to do the same thing the other side. Subtract 1, subtract 3 over 3, which is the same thing as 1. And now that gets us x equals negative 5/3. So now we have two possible solutions for what x is for this absolute value equation. Okay? So now, once you go down here, try the same thing, pause the video, try this on your own, and then we'll come back and work it out together. Alright, now that you've had a chance to do this on your own, first thing I'm going to do is get the absolute value bars by itself. So I'm going to add 7 to each side. That's 9 over on the right side. I still have 5 times the absolute value of x minus 4. Divide by 5. That's a 1. So now I'm going to come up here and continue my work. I have absolute value of x minus 4 equals 9 over 5. And again, because I have the absolute value here, I need the positive and negative version of that 9/5. So I have x minus 4 equals positive 9/5. And I have x minus 4 equals negative 9/5, right? So I'm going to add 4 to each side. Now I'm going to add 4 as 20 over 5. Draw a line between this so I don't get confused. So now I know 20 over 5 is 4. So by adding 4 either way, it's doing the same thing on both sides. But I do this so I have common denominator down here on the bottom. So now I have x equals 29 over 5. I'm going to do the same thing this side. Plus 4 plus 20 over 5 for the same reason, so I can get common denominator, and 20 over 5 is still 4. So now I get x equals, and then 20 minus 9 is 11. So I have 11 over 5. So if I were to write this as a decimal, it would be 5.8 for the first x value, and x equals 2.2 for the other one. Either way you write it is fine, okay? Just make sure you can understand that you can go back and forth between the two. So you could get the fraction version of each x value or the decimal version of each x value, okay? Again, thing to remember. First thing, get the absolute value bars by itself. And from there, I need to set up two equations because I could have both the positive or the negative version of what's on the right side of my equal sign. All right, hope this video helps. We'll see you in the next one.